which hampers a lot in teaching process, in smooth learning and teaching process. So for that, I have created this AI-enabled hand gesture recognition system named Trustone AI, in which you can just control your slides by using hand gestures. If you can see, I can move this forward, and I can just change the slide using like this. And I can also annotate the slide using my finger. So you can, in future, I want to integrate by default in Google Slides, so that when you click on the slide, let's say present button, it will automatically start up this whole system. And next we can scale it up because I have made this.
Related to computer vision, maybe without you that physical gesture, maybe what you are thinking by seeing you, because anyway your entire facial expressions and other things are being captured by the camera.
Yes.
So that way, what you are intending next slide, which one you actually really want to show, or which topic, is there any mechanisms we can develop over a period of time, especially for the teacher? Because that their sequential mechanisms is mostly you know after this topic what they are going to discuss about.
Yes, sir.
And maybe at what point they may ask some question.
Yes.
So that predictability after attending class for almost 6 months, even for new teachers, one student can predict.
Yes.
Why can't we do something for that teacher?
Yes, sir. We can also integrate that. I will make that in version 4.
Good.
So my name is Anala Yusuf and I'm a student of class 12 from Delhi Public School, Bangalore East. This is my project, the AI HR Assistant. So this is designed to predict the future attrition rate of employees in an organization. Basically, whether an employee is happy with their job or not. So this is a data science project and it has an 81% accuracy. I was inspired to think of this idea when there
Have you
was...
ever discussed about with all your teachers? How happy they are?
Not yet, sir.
I think that is also essential.
Yes.
You must capture.
We can try deploying it. I think even Intel tried deploying it and ma'am had asked if we wanted this.
If not your own school teacher, then you request principals to go to other teachers.
Definitely.
Okay, then what next?
So again, I was inspired to think of this idea when there were a lot of debates going on about the future of AI. People would talk about automation taking away jobs. And therefore, I felt that if AI can take away jobs in that sense, it should also be able to provide better employment. And therefore, I decided to come up with this because organizations spend a lot of money in training the right employees. And when these employees leave, it is obviously sort of a waste or it does not really help the organization like that. So therefore, this is a tool for the HR to better manage this. It is a patent pending project presently. And would you like to see how this works, sir?
Definitely.
Yes, sir.
I'm thinking, I'm just going to ask Amit and Sheta, Intel ka HR ka vacancy. Is it in better lead?
Even in CBSE.
We really need badly need it.
So would you let me know your choices and I'll put it and then we'll see better. The employee
It
will
comes
stay
to
or
how
not.
motivated you are.
Okay, Karan.
So do you do overtime? And marital status. Frequency of business travels. Employee stocks as in incentives and I mean incentives and all like I would say loyalties basically.
It's a very thought-provoking question.
I think you will
be motivated. You ask me this question.
So your designation would be executive and department. Management. So we have R&D, HR. So we actually
You have to add more.
yeah. So we actually used a data set which was already available on Kaggle. I tried having a Google form, but then we could not train data with that because we need
R&D.
yeah. So and field of education. So, oh, and now we're going to see. So, employee retention is high, which means we're going to see the organization.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir.
You are in grade 12 right now, or
I'm in grade 12 right now, sir.
have you taken AI as a subject?
No, sir. I'm actually a humanities student.
Oh, that's nice.
So, but I mean, I don't think my school offers humanities with
You
AI.
teacher is also presenting?
Sorry?
आपका teacher भी है?
Marina.
Huh? Yes, sir. Oh, good afternoon. So you offer, because while the Seva project and whatever we as a subject, why you are restricting humanities? It is not, the AI is not only for PCM.
A lot of people perceive that it's only for ACM.
No.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely not.
unfortunate. Even with engineering, that's the perspective. But in 11th and 12th, this is offered for commerce as well as humanities. So we are going to start, because this was our first year. We started with the PCM students and PCB students.
बच्ची को तो स्पेशली 12th में भी आप रजिस्टर करा सकते हैं, स्पेशल प्रैक्टिस हो जाता है with our project.
The new version of the program which we're going to announce by the end of the year is no book based. So no code, no code. So anybody can start.
Image how is being satellite. And currently you have to look into a strategy adapted by these coastal areas, local government, wherever. So, and then suppose a portion of geography what you are covering, what existing methodologies are there to protect this? No, 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 that is for detecting. After detection, the existing way of skimming or some process might be there. Uh, so that also you need to understand, so that this effectiveness of these studies can be further explored.
What do you recommend? After you detect it, what should be the authorities do? Hazards. So you are taking exact okay, so that's not exact.
But we have to give all those answers and check. Only questions you are And or this brain. Thank you. Which you are also in bench. What subjects constructed काम करते हैं because of that. उनका पास तो बहुत सारे डाटा मिल जाएगा क्रिएट करने के लिए. If you really want to work upon data, provide करेंगे आपको. ठीक है? Take care. अभी मत तो डाटा things we do acknowledgements these kind of components manually. बीच में अलग से एक्नॉलेजमेंट सेक्शन then after unveiling ठीक है ये दिखा रहा है yes अभी हम बनाएंगे हमको इसका एक्सपेरिमेंट साइंस टीचर्स को देखना पड़ेगा क्या क्या एक्सपेरिमेंट सिलेबस में है उसमें एक एक लैब एक्टिविटी हर बच्चों के लिए एटीएल में आके लगेगा मैं वहाँ पे पॉइंट पॉइंट डाला है आज इसी का आज इसी का सेवा बैठिए आप लोग बैठिए
So when you tell a class, you have to, when you're teaching, press speak it, change, and then you press the and then change the slide and then go back and say, and that takes a lot of time and answers a lot of teaching process. So I have created this in which you can just take your time and then you can just change the slide on the notification. You can also create and let's take another say let's so this basically your question right? Yes, changes. No, sir, I have created this as a web version so that you can just visit the website and you can do all of this. Because yes, yes, you will keep track of that, and we will also working on lot of that.
चलेगा ना बेचना है तो बेच लो ठीक है वो मेनू है ना
So AI assistant is designed to be the organization, basically whether an employee is happy or not with their job. So I was inspired to think of this idea when there were AI and the loss of jobs as a result due to it. So again, if AI can take away jobs, it should also be able to provide better employment. And organizations also spend a lot of money on training their employees and they invest in them. So when these employees don't stay back, it is almost a loss for the organization. So it is important for the HR to keep travel on this. And that is why I came up with the AI HR assistant. It's based on data science and has an 81% accuracy. So can I give you a demo? Yes. Okay, okay, no issue.
We at AIM, we use, we don't have an
Perfect.
expert.
Sure. Yes.
That deserves.
Looking forward to it.
Yes,
She's one of those 10 children in India where they do some fighters.
Congratulations.
thank you.
Did you apply for the patent award?
So I was
No, no, your patent.
She doesn't have a patent yet.
Yeah.
It's a
It's
Fair enough.
Why is there an IP award, patent award, organized by the patent office?
Nice.
The deadline is tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Yeah, I will tell you.
So anyone who has a patent can apply for that award. It's a very simple step. We'll share that.
yeah, sure.
Oil spill, all right. Okay.
So Monica Demonica. So how does it feel to go if you're on cargo or go to Mauritius Sea and find black oil all around you? If I were there at moonlight, it would be soothing. So just by imagining it, it doesn't feel good. How would it feel to those fishes and birds who are struggling to breathe under that black oil? We keep coming to the articles which says that 10,000 millions of tons of oil get spilled in ocean every year. This not only devastates the coast but moves around 20, 30 species of marine life towards extinction. And
So you just say what did you?
okay,
What did you?
I made an alternative data. So we use the imagery, detects for presence of mollusks.
Who gives the image?
Right now, we are registering the image, but because of lack of access to salinity data. But as soon as we get that, it will be automated and 24/7. We'll monitor all the oceans for presence of oxygen and immediately the authorities will be intervention.
We know them very well.
Congratulations.
Sandy. Sandy, where are you from? Very good. Miss Brazil.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lakshmi. Just like it was better support. Mostly MLI was the challenge of getting
ऑफिस में काम चल रहा है कम आई
He's not being Abina.
नहीं
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ambika, and on the behalf of NITI Aayog, CBSE, and Inter India, I would like to welcome you all to the launch of AIoT integration in curriculum program. Today, we are privileged to have with us Dr. Chintan Vaishnav, Mission Director, Adult Innovation Mission, NITI Aayog, Dr. Biswajit Saha, Director, Skills Education, Central Board of Secondary Education, Ms. Shweta Khurana, Senior Director, Global Government Affairs Group, Inter India. A warm welcome to all of you, all the dignitaries and distinguished guests from different parts of the country who have joined us today for the special program. Now, to set the context and give a brief insight about the AIoT integration and curriculum program, I would like to request Dr. Biswajit Saha to please say a few words.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. So after the excited presentations given by all dear students, I think we all are wound up. And especially I was looking into their presentation skill. आप लोग भी सुन रहे थे उनका वॉइस मॉड्यूलेशंस एंड अदर थिंग्स तो एचआर से लेके मैंने बेंगलोर से लेके केबी और महाराष्ट्र से लेके सालवान तक सबका आपका एक अलग अंदाज था. सो प्रोफेसर चिंतन वैष्णव, मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर ऑफ अटल इनोवेशन मिशन, मिस श्वेता खुराना फ्रॉम इंटेल, Mr. Chatterjee from Intel, and other colleagues from Intel, and of course Deepali, program director, again from AIM, and entire team of AIM. Because first of all, we are thankful for hosting this event, that too also in the NITI Aayog premises. Because altogether the teachers and principals came from different part of the country. नीति आयोग में नीति तय किया जाता है, लेकिन एक नीति आयोग का एक हिस्सा बन के कुछ नए दिशा में जो भारत एक न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी एंड दैट टू आल्सो टेक्नोलॉजी इन्फ्यूजन्स के लिए व्हाट एवर वर्क्स वी आर कैरिंग आउट, सेंसिंग दिस एट दैट पॉलिसी बिल्डिंग, that itself is a huge motivation for all our educators. So again, once again, thanks to both the NITI Aayog and Atal Innovation Mission for hosting us today. Second, of course, our collaborator partner Intel, because AI journey we have conceptualized, and maybe many a times Shweta tells the world community, because she is not only heading the responsibility in India. So APJ, no? Asia Pacific, and including Japan. So everywhere, somewhere the good works carried by Indian educators are being showcased. तो पहले ऐसा होता था टेक्नोलॉजी में, अमेरिका से कुछ उत्पत्ति होता था, वो फॉलो होता था दूसरे देश में, और एशिया भी एक्सेप्शन नहीं था. बट आज का तारीख में एआई के लेके अगर कोई बात करेगा एंड टिंकरिंग लैब के लिए कोई बात करेगा, बहुत सारे countries, I have personally experienced earlier also that some senior officials from Indonesia, some senior officials, especially embassy people, they have visited how and what way this ATL mission is working. So similarly for AI, I think with the support of Intel, CBSE could be the first board who had formalized the curricula. It is not. If you go to USA till date, it is part of somewhere additional summer camp kind of activities. If you go to Australia, IT as a subject they offer. But AI, okay, for some for senior grade student project, it is any teachers can integrate. But you know, yeah, in grade 9th and grade 10th as a subjects, nobody is offering. Now maybe many of the international board are they have opened the dimension. They have started thinking in that way. But ये सोच यहाँ से शुरू हुआ था और आप ही लोगों का सपोर्ट से हुआ था. Now coming back to our today's agenda, that AI, OT, and we have also come up with, you might have seen CBSE website, that AI integrations. AI as a pedagogy. This is again a new term to the world. How your social studies teaching can be integrated and how it can be part of your teaching. So these things has been integrated again with the support of Intel and our faculty members. The credit goes to you. हम तो यहाँ पे वो थोड़ा तालियां सुनने के लिए आ जाते हैं, लेकिन असली काम आप लोगों ने किया है और आप ही लोग एक्चुअली सारे रिकॉग्निशंस का हकदार हो. Number 2, today's agenda is ATL lab with the support of ministry, with the support of government of India. Many of the government and private schools may set up हुआ है. But largely, in our understanding, optimum utilization से एक टर्मिनोलॉजी होता है हर जगह पे. वो HR में भी वो बच्ची दिखा रही थी बेंगलोर से. But question is whether we are utilizing it, whether we are utilizing the full potential of the ATL. I think there is a variations in thought process. If I go to late 80s, स्कूल में कंप्यूटर लैब जहाँ पे शुरू हुआ है, तो इसमें डस्ट नहीं लग सकता है. ये एक ऐसा यंत्र हो गया है, मतलब इसको टच करने से भी खराब हो जाएगा. ऐसा एक परंपरा रहा. उस परंपरा से जब मैंने नेहरू प्लेस का कंप्यूटर शॉप देखा, कोई ऐसी नहीं है, कुछ नहीं है, सारे करोड़ों का कारोबार हो रहा है, कोई कंप्यूटर तो खराब नहीं होता. पीछे मैंने वो जो आपका जो यूपीएस है या आपका जो पावर सप्लाई का जो एरिया है, वो तो डस्ट से, मतलब वो कोई किसी का वो कम्युनिटी किचन में भी इतना डस्ट नहीं जमते है गैस का. दैट मीन्स इट इज ए मीथ. नाउ सेम वे एटीएल का जो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर भारत सरकार का अनुदान का द्वारा, और स्कूल में भी काफी सारे प्रोग्रेसिव स्कूल्स अपना भी कुछ एडिशनल इनिशिएटिव लिया है, लार्जली इट इज लिमिटिंग. कुछ ही स्टूडेंट इसमें पॉलिसी डॉक्यूमेंट देखेंगे तो नीति आयोग का, उसमें कम्युनिटी इन्वॉल्वमेंट, दूसरे क्लास का इन्वॉल्वमेंट, बट एक्चुअली बहुत कम जगह पे होता है. देयर आर सर्टेन प्राइवेट स्कूल्स, आई एम नॉट क्रिटिसाइजिंग प्राइवेट स्कूल्स, इनका बहुत अच्छा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है. गेटेड कम्युनिटी विथ सिक्योरिटी गार्ड एंड 24/7 सीसीटीवी कैमरा. कम्युनिटी वालों का तो हिम्मत ही नहीं है उसका गार्डन देखने के लिए, लैब तो दूर का बात है. नाउ हियर वी आर दैट ओके, चलो कम्युनिटी फर्स्ट फेज में मैंने छोड़ दिया. स्कूल का जो बच्चा है, जो पेरेंट्स है, उनको तो हक बनता है, वो तो फीस देते हैं, उनके लिए हम क्या कर सकते हैं? So this is the first step towards that, so that how we can really utilize all our ATL. And second component, CBSE तो AI ऑफर कर रहे हैं. एटीएल से बेहतर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है भारत देश में किसी स्कूल में? तो क्यों ना एआई यहाँ से शुरू किया जाए? यू माइट हैव लिसन व्हाइल इंटरेक्टिंग विद द स्टूडेंट, ह्यूमैनिटीज का बच्चा जो प्रोजेक्ट बनाया है, जो सोच है, जो शुद्धता है, आई थिंक इनको अगर हम एनकरेज कर पाएंगे, फॉरगेट अबाउट अदर, देयर आर सर्टेन कैटेगरी ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स जो अपने आप विदाउट योर पर्सनल इंटरवेंशन वो निकल जाएगा, बट लार्जर चंक ऑफ कम्युनिटी जो स्टूडेंट बेस है, हम डेमोग्राफिक डिविडेंड सुनते सुनते कान बंद हो गया, बट डिविडेंड एंटायर नेशन कम्स टू द स्कूल, नॉट गोइंग टू द प्रेस्टिजियस यूनिवर्सिटी. परसेंटेज ड्रॉप आउट देखेंगे तो इट इज अलार्मिंग. सो विथ दिस काइंड ऑफ public private partnerships, when organizations are coming forward to help, let us take the challenge to grab this opportunity और इसका मैक्सिमम यूटिलाइजेशंस होगा तो इनको भी खुशी होंगे. इन माय टेन्योर, ओके, दैट many thousands labs are there, but out of that, if I tell out of 10,000, 1,000 lab are more than 85% utilized. उसका डैशबोर्ड में फिर वो लोग देखेंगे, देखो सरकारी स्कीम कैसे कामयाब होता है, और एक जागरूकता पैदा करेगा. इनोवेशंस ओवरनाइट नहीं आएगा. और करिकुलम में मेरा आप लोगों से रिक्वेस्ट है, बिकॉज आप लोग सिर्फ भाषण सुनने के लिए नहीं आया, आप खुद का अनुभव शेयर करने के लिए आया है. आपका अनुभव में एक चीज आप जोड़िए. अभी जो क्लास 6 से लेके 12 का व्हाट एवर सब्जेक्ट्स, फॉर टाइम बीइंग उनका सिलेबस में किस तरह से इनोवेटिव एक्टिविटीज आप जुड़ सकते हैं, व्हिच कैन बी द पार्ट ऑफ योर ATL लैब शेड्यूल्ड एक्टिविटीज, एंड देन अलाउ एनी स्टूडेंट टू डू एनीथिंग इन द लैब. खराबी तो होगा, खराबी तो करेगा. आई केम फ्रॉम ए टिपिकल इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज, वहां पे चोरी भी होता था, एंड क्या होता था, माउस चोरी होता था, एंड अदर लाइब्रेरी से बुक गायब होता था. कुछ प्रोफेसर्स को मालूम है कौन लेके जाते हैं, बट फिर भी नहीं बोलते. लेके जा रहा है तो इस्तेमाल तो कर रहा है. वी वांट द यूज, और उस यूज से अगर इनोवेशन आते हैं, सीसीटीवी आप जानबूझ के मत बोलो, उसका बाद उसको एथिक्स का पार्ट सेपरेटली सिखाइए, वो अपने आप आके शेयर करेगा, व्हाई, हाउ, व्हेन. सो वी वांट द यूटिलाइजेशन. बॉक्स में बंद करके ग्लास डोर्स का बाहर से डिजाइन थिंकिंग नहीं होता है. फॉर डिजाइन थिंकिंग दे हैव टू सिट टुगेदर, एंड हाउ द अदर टीचर्स, अभी सोशल साइंस टीचर्स, पॉलिटिकल साइंस टीचर्स, how they can utilize this kind of integrated approach, then only you are going to own the lab. Otherwise, this lab is by some organizations, some category of teachers are only eligible to enter, तो आपका कॉमन टीचर्स रूम में डिस्कशन का हिस्सा नहीं, समथिंग फिशी. You break this layer and you can do it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sam, for your inspiring words. I would now like to invite Ms. Shweta Khurana to kindly enlighten us with your thoughts on innovation and technology.
Thank you so much, and good afternoon, everyone. I want to kind of start by just thanking each one of you here. And there are two reasons why I want to personally thank you. One, your schools are the first schools in India which adopted AI as a subject of study. So thank you so much.
हम बोले थे ना ताली आप लोगों के लिए बजाएंगे.
And second, and more importantly, you also have ATLs. So you are encouraging tinkering right at the heart. Right? And then let's talk about your strength. Your strength is academics, it's pedagogy, right? Now, all we are trying to do is put all these three aspects together to make learning more holistic, to make the learning outcomes more tangible from a future of work perspective. Why future of work perspective? And there's a conversation I was having with a couple of principals once. Says, why is it that we want to build an AI-ready generation in India? And the answer is very simple. Today, we generate almost 1 billion GB of data. But what do we do with the data which is generated? We want to get insights, useful insights, to get more intelligence into the system. And I was reading a report by Forbes recently, which said that, because you have ATLs, you understand the tinkering specs of things, you understand IoT. If you look at tinkering and IoT, that's like the nervous system of the body. Now, what do we need on top of that? We need AI, which becomes the brain of the body. And what do you get? You get a well-connected future, and you get a young generation which is ready to take the world at large, because of the skills which they will have once they pass out of the schools is going to make them well equipped to handle the future of work. If you look at the skill sets which are required from a future of work perspective, right? Artificial intelligence, working with sensors, IoT, AIoT, it all talks about how do we converge everything towards moving a connected future, whether we deploy that for smart cities, whether we deploy that for any of the healthcare the innovations which are coming up. That's the kind of world we are gearing up our future generation for. And that is why as Intel, we continue talking about how critical it is to build a generation which is ready for future of work, which is AI ready, which knows how to work with technologies, with IoT, with knows how to tinker. And then, of course, when you add the academic flavor to it and you make sure the learning outcomes are more comprehensible, that's a value which today nobody can talk about. Very quickly, talking about what are the steps ahead from here, right? These schools have been identified to run a pilot where we want to converge everything together. We want to make sure that the students get all the inputs possible to make them ready for the future they're going to be facing shortly. So there are going to be training sessions, there are going to be learning sessions for you, for your staff, for your computer in charge, for your ATL in charge, and for the person who manages your AI as a subject. We would really want you to be the leaders who are going to nurture the leaders of tomorrow for India. So thank you so much again for joining and in this initiative, for taking this up. I also want to take this opportunity to thank Dr. Chintan and Dr. Saha. Collaborating with Atal Innovation Mission and with CBSE is something which is very dear to us at Intel. Dr. Chintan, we started, we were a part of the journey when the first 10 ATLs were set up in this country. We've seen how it has evolved into become such a robust network, which allows children to innovate far excellence. With CBSE, Dr. Saha said that when AI was announced as a subject of study, again, we've been a part of this journey. So today is more like a homecoming for all of us at Intel. It's more like how do we pull all the strengths together to give everybody an integrated experience on what our CEO calls as the superpowers of knowledge. So whether we talk about emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, IoT, even 5G today, or whether we talk about how do we apply them, it's building across 3 vectors. So we need your help, and that's my closing statement. We need help from each one of you in this room to ensure that every child in your schools walks out with the most relevant skill sets, which would be made available because of the tinkering lab, the AI skills, etc., and the pedagogy, with a right mindset, which enables them to understand and comprehend, what is AI ethics all about? What are AI biases at play? How do I keep myself safe and secure from a privacy standpoint? And get access to the tool sets which you have because of the ATL labs and which can get fortified in the future. And more importantly, with all the knowledge which is going to get imparted through this learning environment. So thank you so much for being a part of this journey.
Thank you, Shweta, for setting the context of this program. May I now invite Dr. Chintan Vaishnav, MD, Atal Innovation Mission, NITI Aayog, to address the audience and enlighten us with your views on this AIoT integration and curriculum.
Thank you so much. Welcome everybody to NITI Aayog. First of all, I apologize. I was a bit late because I was in a meeting where there was somebody so senior that I just couldn't get up and leave. But I'm glad we're all together. I am really, actually, I have to say, I am really, really delighted that we have arrived at this moment, and we'll be unveiling something today that to me really truly marks a very important inflection point in our education system's journey. Um, I want to thank Dr. Saha and CBSE, and Shweta and team and Intel. This is a win-win-win formation, Intel, AIM and CBSE. I'll tell you more about it. But I want to say why I think this is an inflection point. You see, and then I want to end by saying, why are you the linchpin in the success of something like this? Dr. Saha already made a very important point that an infrastructure that doesn't get utilized has no there's no value in creating an infrastructure that doesn't get adequately utilized. You step back and ask a big question that in few years from now, when it comes to making decisions, will the machine lead? Will we lead, human beings? Or will we work together? The machines and us, that is, right? If the machines lead, the dark future comes in some ways, dark in the following sense that, all these software jobs will go away because machines can do all of it, and so on, right? Many of us don't like to believe that future. It is a very plausible future, right? I mean, we have now seen that machines can beat us in chess, for example, because they can compute 5, 6, 7 layer deep. They have to crunch numbers, and we have to store it in our brain registers, which is only limited to 7 plus or minus 2, as we know from cognitive science and so on. So machines, there are certain tasks where machines will do better than us. There's no doubt about it. If we lead, that's also in some ways a dark future, because look at the world we may have created with all the variety of problems, the climate, the inequities, and so on. At times one feels like maybe if there weren't vested interest and machines were able to be more objective, maybe we'll be in a better world. Who knows? But I think the future that, at least to me, most inviting seems to be where we work together, right? They do, that is the machines, do what they do better, and we do what we do better. I think we'll do better at ethics. That's what my belief is, that we will do better with ethics. And I would not like to be wrong. But I think this is a big question, right? I mean, in service of, so all of this exercise is in service of that big question. So then the question is, can we induce machines and our understanding of machines in our pedagogy? And right now, there seems to be several forces coming together. First, AI is known to us for, AI is not new. We know it from at least 50s, 60s. It's not a new thing. What is new is the ubiquity of processing power. Each one of us having a little device in our pocket that is stronger than IBM's mainframe computer. That's new. Affordability of the processing power, that's new. And so, therefore, the idea of artificial intelligence is a far more accessible idea to many of us. So that's one force that we talk about, right? In India, I feel, we are at a very, very important juncture with the national education policy, opening our eyes and ears to how the world, where the world is progressing, breaking the legacy at least the undesirable parts of the legacy and so on, right? So that is another very important juncture. People like CBSE doing integrating this into the curriculum, that's an important juncture. People like Intel putting their absolute state of the art to integrate machines into our learning process so that one of two things happen, I feel. One, see, the learning is going to be either problem-led or it's going to be methods-led. In other words, I can see a problem. I'll give you an example. There is this in Singhbhum, Jharkhand, the DBMS English school. It has an ATM. Here they were having problem with attendance, right? These students have put together camera, Raspberry Pi, and some software to put cameras in classrooms, which does face recognition and tells who is in the classroom and who isn't, and sends an SMS to parents. Oh, I love this. So think about it. It's a problem-led, right? You can ask many questions here, right? There are privacy concerns, and all of that we will solve. Again, as I said, we have to be in charge of the ethics. But imagine that this can be done by young people. So that's one thing that this forces coming together will address. Second, you can be technique-led. So you can say that I know techniques now that my generations before me didn't know, and therefore I can solve. But the problems have been known. Rotten fruit, for example, no problem. But techniques, once you have a technique, then you can say, okay, I have this hammer, I can go and find some nails that we couldn't fix before and I will fix it, right? So that's happening. And I think, but the process of this is extremely hard, and therefore an endeavor like this is an extremely intense endeavor, but it's a worthy beginning, and I will end with this example to show you why it's hard. So I used to co-teach Programming 101 at MIT, first class in programming, right? 250 people show up in it usually. Young students, first year, very impudent, and they know a variety of things and all that. They show up in this class. And you know how as many of you have been exposed to programming, you know that the way we teach programming in 99% of the world is to say, hey, here is a programming language, here is syntax, here are some examples, why don't you memorize the syntax, you work through the example and you will learn the programming language, right? Nothing wrong with it. We have taught many people through with such a method, and they have good jobs and they are having good lives. Nothing wrong with it. But at MIT, when these kids show up in a class, what they encounter is this little old dabba sitting on the stage, and that dabba is the 1978 PDP-11 computer. Anything before, unlike what we have seen, unlike this, right? And they are told that, look, this dabba only understands 5 instructions, but you have to implement a simple database with it, or you have to implement something called a circular buffer or something complex. They are told, but they say, but this dabba is very dumb. It can only understand 5 instructions. So these people are told that first you have to invent your language because there's no language in this world. So each of the 250 people invent their language, simple language, syntax and all that, and they implement that language in these 5 simple instructions. Then they are told, oh, you implemented your language, but this Dabba has to interpret your language. So why don't you write your interpreter in this 5 instructions? Like that, they write the compiler, they execute the software, they get the result, then they start writing that more complex task of a database or a circular buffer, and they go back and forth, and this is every week, it is a 30-40 hours of work, they are sleepless, and but by the time the semester ends, they can open any programming language of the world because they know why the language is the way it is. Now, and they can invent new languages. Now, the question is, why doesn't this pedagogy go to the entire world? The answer is because it is a lot of work for teachers. Yeah. To look at 200 different languages and be with all of these bright young kids. And it requires people like you who are willing to experiment and be available and be sleepless and be restless and all of that. And I think this beginning, I am sure with your example, will bring us this era to many, many schools across the country. So thank you very much once again.
Thank you so much, sir. So I believe the time has now come when we launch the AIoT curriculum. So I would request all our guests to please turn the books, open the ribbon, and launch the book for all of us.
Try the other one. The other one. See to pull this. Should work. No? Why don't you take this? Hi.
Ah, there we go. There we go.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Finally.
Yes,
Here we are.
This
So,
is exciting.
Acha, interestingly, first meeting, concept discussed, in the second meeting, book launch.
Yes, we didn't use meetings, right?
I said this is win-win-win. I mean, they were the front runners when we launched it. They're the front runners at the inflection point. This is excellent.
This is a true inflection point, I have to say that. I mean, seeing the journey for so many years, and it's so nice that all of you are willing to take this ahead. We would love to now come to your schools and see the impact on the ground.
Yeah.
That's what we would love to do.
And bring people to it.
Yeah.
We have all these international, we recently had the Australians here, right? They went to some ATLs. They have nothing like this, nothing close to it.
Ambika, you can give the platform to our educators. If they have any 2-3 questions, they can we can definitely.
Absolutely, sir.
No?
So,
Or anything they like to share, so that before I know we are short.
No, they want to go through what this program is about. Let's
okay,
give them a
yeah.
very brief overview and then open for any
Yeah.
thoughts, questions, feedback.
Yes, yes.
But do this very fast.
Yeah, absolutely. You all have covered almost everything that the program is about. I'm going to very
No,
quickly-
I think brief programs you just mentioned, and thereafter we can.
Yes, exactly.
I think
Just
I
the
think,
brief program.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Just to talk about something that has already been said, the program AIoT integration and curriculum, our focus is to reinforce the learning outcomes and future skills of AI and tinkering among students. So the idea is that the students should be able to enhance their technological skills. They should be able to develop a mindset, gain relevant skill set that would help them once they go out of schools. They should be able to use these skills responsibly and impactfully in the technology-led world that they would be facing. So the objectives of this program are to nurture the innovation ecosystem in the schools and to provide opportunities to demystify AI and tinkering for students, democratize skills and tool sets. So as our dignitaries have already mentioned, we already have AI subject through which the AI skill sets can be uh, gained by the students, and the tool sets can be democratized through the ATLs that your schools already have. So that is another objective, and then, of course, enhancing the outcomes that we have from both the ways. How this works, Shweta ma'am has already talked about the entire flow. We There is this orientation program for you all today. Yes. Once after the orientation, you'll go back, nominate 2 teachers from your school who will then attend the master training workshops. In those workshops, they'll be taken through the handbooks, which you can now get from the website link. We'll share the link with you where the handbook will be published. And from there, they'll take it forward and they'll nurture an ecosystem in their schools by training other teachers, because we are trying to integrate AI and tinkering in the subject pedagogies. So if you see in the handbook also, there are several lesson plans that have been developed for different subjects. And in the end, we will be able to democratize these skills and tools to all the students for the school. So expectation setting, we'll talk about it in the orientation session. I think we should go ahead. And in the end, I should say, as Chintan sir also gave a very good example of a project that was created by a student. And if you must have heard the students that have showcased their projects here, we can see how beautifully AI and tinkering can actually integrate together in the subject pedagogies, and students can come up with their own innovations. So as Samiksha has presented her own solution where she is able to detect fruits if they are rotten or if they are fresh, with the help of both tinkering as well as AI. Similar solutions can actually be developed from each one of your schools. So that is the outcome that we are looking forward to. So with this, I would conclude the program overview over here. And before we actually move to the closure, if anyone wants to share their thoughts, views, anything, please go ahead.
Quickly.
May I, sir? Good morning. I'm Dr. Kavita Jakhar. I'm Principal Army Public School Hisar. And our school was amongst the first few schools, and maybe in the second lot we got the Atal Tinkering Lab. And that was earlier initially through a competition that schools were getting Atal Tinkering Labs. But the fact that we have Atal Tinkering Lab, because of that, our school was selected for a project, sir, wherein the project is called Project Albus in collaboration with Niti Aayog, and we got a grant of 44 lakhs. Not exactly grant, they gave us Chromebooks for children, because I have children in the army school who come from different categories and all. So not everybody is able to, so I'm really thankful for that. And it is also because of this project, sir, children are learning, teachers are learning, and also recently the ITCA also reached out to us for that 75 satellite mission. But we do not have anybody who was going to sponsor that, because they need sponsorship 1 crore project. So we are looking at sponsors for that to be able to have that satellite mission going in our school. So really grateful, and also because Biswajit Saha sir is sitting here, he's one director, sir. I'm not interacted with you or others, but sir, anytime we've reached out, he's given so many opportunities. So that is the best part about this NEP and the new system, where everybody is so reachable. We've already democratized the process, so really thankful for that, sir. Thank you for inviting us here, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there anyone else? I think we'll now move to the closure. I'm requesting Dipali to kindly.
Does this work?
Yeah, we can take this.
Yeah, this is fine. Yeah, this is fine. All right, enough has been said with regards to how important this initiative is going to be. And let me once again mention that with this initiative of integrating tinkering into the school curriculum, integrating AI and making it as a part of your daily classes is really going to have a huge impact in how these labs are utilized, in how these skills are brought about in the best way possible, because tinkering is essentially just a way of learning. So is AI. And how you could apply it across subjects, you'll see as a part of this manual,
is, it's very facilitating in the sense that it guides you chapter wise how you could take up certain projects, how you could take up certain concepts and teach them through tinkering and applying AI concepts. It even comes down to the details of what exactly do you need in terms of resources, materials, what do you need in an ATL lab to actually build this project. It takes you through stages. So, you might have some bright students in class 6, you might have some students who are still picking it up. You actually have levels and stages across each of these assignments on, taking them to the next level. If they've reached level 1, how do you take them to the next level? How do you further, make them more curious and learn with taking them to another concept and doing a deep dive into that same concept further. So it's a great initiative. I would like to thank Intel for coming together with CBSE and Atal Innovation Mission Niti Aayog in developing something like this. This would not have been possible, like the ATL program in itself, without their support and without the tremendous support of the team that they put together to develop something like this. It's incredible the output that we've got. This is the hard work of almost a year of multiple people working behind the scenes. A lot of you all, we got inputs from in terms of developing this content. I have a huge list of thank yous, but I do want to say thank yous to all of them because I know they worked very hard in the last 1 year putting this thing together. To start with, let me say thank you, a very big thank you to Dr. Chintan Vaishnav, Mission Director, Atal Innovation Mission, Niti Aayog, for being that visionary leader. This was one of the first few things he said when he took this position, that we want to mainstream tinkering. We want to take tinkering to classrooms, not just remain in labs. And we are seeing that happen today. I want to say thank you to to Dr. Biswajit Saha, Central Board of Secondary Education Director, Skills Education. He has been extremely, instrumental in making this happen, because a lot of times these conversations take place, but he's actually a doer. He will make it happen. That is the thing about Dr. Saha. So thank you so much for making it happen. I also want to thank Ms. Nidhi Chabra, Chairperson, Central Board of Secondary Education. I'm sure her blessings were very important in taking this initiative forward. Ms. Shweta Khurana, Senior Director, Global Government Affairs at Intel India. Of course, she and the team have made this happen, and it's been possible because of their support. I want to thank Mr. Ravindra Pal Singh, Joint Secretary, Department of Skill Education, again CBSE, and his support in coordinating and managing this. Ms. Vishnupriya Bijapur from Atal Innovation Mission, Atal Tinkering Labs team, she has been instrumental in driving this entire initiative. The entire ATL team, AIM team in supporting this initiative, Shubham, Prateek, Tanvi, Suman, Dipyaman, Tanvi, and the entire Intel team, the AI for Youth coaches who've been supporting students, who've been working with our expert teachers, and the entire panel that came together to develop this content. The content preparation team, Ms. Leelambika Srinivasan, Ms. Soumya Iyer, Ms. Mehreen Shamim, Ms. Dolly Dhawan, Ms. Madhubala, Mr. Abhijit, Ms. Falguni Tiwari, Ms. Shelly Bakshi, Ms. Sohail Patel. So thank you, Mr. Sohail Patel. Thank you so much, everyone, for putting together. And I may have missed a few others, but thank you so much. And most importantly, thank you all of you as head of your institutions, as principals, as HODs, because you will truly make this a success or a failure. So we rely on you in taking this forward in your schools. We are here to support you for anything that you need in terms of making this successful. The coaches, the Intel team and AIM team and CBSE teams will be constantly in touch with you. Today is just the start with this orientation program, but we will work with you hand in hand to make this a huge success, not just in your schools, and eventually take it to the rest of the schools in India, to all the ATLs and to all the AI labs across India, with your support. So thank you so much for being here and participating in this important initiative with us. Thank you.
So with this, we have come to an end to the launch ceremony. I would again like to thank all our dignitaries to join us today. And I would request my team to kindly escort our dignitaries for lunch. And for the principals, we will be serving a lunch here in the room. So I will request you all to remain seated. Thank you all for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we take a picture with the students?
Huh?
Because-
Yes.
In fact,
Okay,
we would love to take
Can we take
possible.
Can we take one with everybody also?
We can
Huh?
try. We can go down
Eh.
the ground floor area.
Oh, I
But
see.
it
That's
might-
a bit
Otherwise,
complex.
maybe some
वहाँ से-
people,
but वहाँ से
maybe
लेना।
some
Let's
people
try
sitting,
that.
some people sitting, and
Sure.
some people can
Yeah.
We
stand.
can move